Do you have a phthalo blue situationship? Look at this mess. I decided this week I'm going to go through and clean my watercolor paints. So these tubes of phthalo blue kind of went rogue, and they were in with my other paints, and there was blue paint everywhere. And now I'm thinking it's time to deal with this mess. I'm going to show you how to keep your tubes of paint clean so that you get the full value of the paint out of them. So this is what your paint should look like. You don't want to build up of paint around here. This one I just cleaned. So now I'm going to clean off these other ones. Like, look at this mess. This one doesn't even have a lid on it. So your paint's going to dry out if the lid pops off and you can't get it back on properly. So all I do is I run my water and I just use this old toothbrush to clean it. So I make sure that that area around the cap is good and clean. And then I even will take the cap off the tube of paint and clean the inside of the cap to get all that excess paint out of there. So I'm going to take my toothbrush and clean around the metal treads on the tube of paint. So yeah, you will lose a little bit of paint on the top there, but it's worth it to keep these paints clean so that they have longevity and they're not drying out and going in the garbage. But you can use a tube of dried out paint with watercolor because you can just reconstitute it with water. So what you can do is just cut the tube open and just stick it in your palette like the tube of paint, and you can just add water to it and you can still paint with it. I found the top of the lid for this paint tube. So earlier I cleaned it out. So I'll put it back on, but it's broken. See, this just popped right off. And the reason this happens is because when you get a new tube of paint, there's like a buildup of pressure and it releases once you take the cap off. And then a bunch of paint comes shooting out. So you want to have your palette there to catch it. But make sure you clean your paint tube off after that and clean out the lid. If you put your lid back on with a lot of that paint still on the top there, that's what causes the problems. And then eventually there's a buildup of paint in here and it'll pop the lid right off. So yeah, you really want to pay attention to cleaning your paints. If you want more tips and tricks for watercolor painting, you can join my Facebook group called Tips and Tricks for Watercolor Painting, or you can go to my website and there's information there as well. I can't even get this little lid off of here, so I'm going to use these scissors here. Is that going to work? Yes, no. It's stuck on there. Oh, maybe I got it. No, it's just turning in there. Oh, there we go. I got it. So I ended up finding a lid in my box of paints that I replaced that other lid with. So that was a good find. So now you can take your paints that are like this and get them to look like this. Look at how clean these paints are.